Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the wake up call. We're finally back in the business with my man Alex. Um, how's everyone doing out of 10?
Hey, it's a new year. It's a new life. Happy New Year, and it's the bear market, and so all those things. It's a 10 out of 10.
Pack it up, boys. See you in 4 years.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we'll jump into it. We're going to go over the markets, our thoughts, thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
uh, we'll start off with Alex and let him get it rocking and rolling here.
Okay, so for those at least not watching on TikTok, you can see a chart that I have laid out here. And I know for some of you, your reaction is not going to be a happy reaction because there is some down projected. Oh no, oh no. I do think that we're going to put in some kind of a lower low before we go higher. And from what I understand, it's been a while, but from what I understand, from people on my live streams, they tell me that Devin and I have different opinions on this. And whatever the case, it's all good, guys. Everything's going to be fine. It's just fine because let me tell you something that I'm firmly convinced of. I'm firmly convinced that this bear market isn't going to be anything even close to the extent of 2022 or 2018, like not even in the same ballpark. Okay, and whatever the projection that I have here is not anywhere close to the percentage drop in crypto, especially with altcoins that we saw in 2018 or 2022. And why is that? Well, this is, I was super bearish going into 2025. I hate to use these words, but 2025, if you asked me what Bitcoin would peak at and what some other cryptos would peak at in 2025, at the beginning of 2025, you told me that Bitcoin was going to peak at 126, I would have been blown away. I would have been really excited about that. But we didn't have this amazing blow off top in 2025. I never expected that. I never expected alt season. I expected something. I wasn't perfect. I know that, but the thing that I've been saying this entire time since like 2023 is let's say 2025 wasn't going to be this great year, that 2026 was also not going to be a terrible year, but that, in my opinion, we have some things to work out. Now, let me establish some common ground with those of you who think we've bottomed, and then I want to share with you my perspective and my invalidation. So the common ground, just think about previous bull runs. No, that's not where I want to go. Here we go. Here's manufacturing. Think about previous cycles. We had Bitcoin peak. I know I'm stealing a page from Raoul Pal, but Raoul Pal butchered this. And so I'm improving something that Raoul Pal has been preaching for years. Every peak with manufacturing was also coincided with a peak in the crypto bull run. I mean, we have manufacturing peaking in February of 2018, a month after alt season in 2018. We have this big peak in manufacturing in March of 2021, pretty much right around the peak of the previous cycle. I don't count that November top as the peak. I count the second quarter of 2021 as the peak. And then we have these bear markets that what we had to do was unwind all of that. We went from being scorching hot with manufacturing with very low interest rates. I mean, 2017, I know rates were rising a little bit, but liquidity was peaking. And then the bear markets was the unwinding of all of that. So 2021, the peak after all that liquidity was injected after the COVID crash. The 2022 was the unwinding of all of that. 2022 was raising rates from 0 to 5.5 or something like that. We don't have that right now. We have no unwinding ahead of us. And so what that means from a broader economic perspective is that, this bear market isn't going to be bad. It's just not. And I would argue, I see people whose opinions I really respect that are saying the same thing, but the opposite of what they were saying in 2024 going into 2025, of like, there's no doubt that we're going to have these things happen. And now they're saying there's no doubt that Bitcoin is going to go down the way it always does, and it's going to bottom out in October or November of 2026. And you know what? We do have that 4chan post predicting October 6th of 2026 or 2025 was going to be the peak. So far, that's right. Between now and 2028, that is absolutely not going to be right. I'd put everything on that.
That's crazy because it's so funny when you hear your audience. People are telling me that's what you were saying was October. But go ahead, I cut you off.
Oh no, I'm not saying October. But what I am saying is like, okay, we still have this 4-year cycle thing that people are thinking through with Bitcoin, and even let's say that it's the same thing this time around, and Bitcoin does bottom out in October or whatever of 2026. Well, what about altcoins? Because in 2022, the bottom for altcoins was in June. Now yes, we did have a double bottom, but that was right after the FTX collapse. That was a that was by crypto standards, a black swan event. But the Ethereum bottomed out in June.
That was the selling climax.
Yeah, that was the selling. Yes. Even if Bitcoin does bottom out in October or no, October, that doesn't mean like altcoins are, I'm quite convinced they're going to get bottoming out much sooner if they haven't bottomed already. So that's all the common ground. Let me just share with you one other thing just to explain this. This is from someone on X called Decode. I follow him, very data oriented. This is just a macro trend oscillator, and you can see the same thing. You can see just this peak of liquidity peaking right around the peaks of the crypto market, and we just didn't have any of that happen in 2024, 2025. We just didn't have any of this, and now we are grinding our way higher, and we're going to be in positive territory pretty soon, but not blow off top territory, but positive territory. So when I think of 2026, I compare it in my head to 2023 as a year of like gathering your nuts or whatever. That analogy doesn't quite gathering your seeds. I wasn't thinking perversely there, but with you, I think when you laughed. But anyway, like a squirrel gathering the acorns. This is a year of just, I think, really good year for accumulation. And then I think by the end of this year, so I'm 50-50 as to whether we're going to see a new all-time high with Bitcoin 2027. By the end of this year, I think we're going to be very excited. We're going to know we're going higher, much, much higher. And I want you to hear this from me again. I think Bitcoin is going to go well beyond its 2025 peak, well before the next halving. And I mean, you want a number over $200,000, but I'm even thinking higher than that. As far as where my brain is right now, I just want to compare something to you with you on this chart, and then I'll let you go, Devin. We held the 100-week EMA. Bitcoin did, and we held it on multiple weekly candles. That's good. We're holding it. Is that the bottom or is it not? I think it's not. But look at what happened in 2021, 2022. Same deal. We held the 100-week EMA. Bitcoin rallied, got rejected right at the 200-day moving average, and then put its final flush out. I do not think that it's going to be anything like this. But until we break through that 200-day, or until we, if I were to draw some fibs here, there's just certain retraces like 618 that I would want to break through those, and that's kind of my invalidation is somewhere around there. I think that Bitcoin will get up to the 200-day this quarter, and I think it's going to get rejected there. If you think we've bottomed, the difference between you and me is that you think we're going to break through. I think we're not. And so, okay, that's fine. We'll see what happens at that point. That's my invalidation. But I do think, I'm projecting a move down to basically, that peak in 2024, that early peak at $74,000. Or the 200-week moving average, which has been a historic bear market bottom, but that would be just a quick bounce off of that. In 2022, we spent several months below that 200-week moving average.
What is
I would
the
say
200 week right now?
V-shaped. 200 week right now is like 60,000, but by the time we'd get there, it'd probably be like 65. So
Okay.
I think we're bottoming out early second quarter for altcoins, maybe early third quarter for Bitcoin. That's it. So I hand it over to you.
They're saying that your mic is laggy, so maybe check the settings. I had to do something on mine
Okay.
because it's been a while since we've done this.
Oh, crap. I got it. Should be good now. Let me know for those on YouTube.
No worries. All right. Let's I'm gonna give you my thoughts. I'm not trying to be a hopium dealer or anything like that, but let's see here. Second, there we go. Maybe it is a little. Let me try to. Okay. All right. So looking at the Russell. So first of all, I'll just say, I think that the selling climax is already in for Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is already happening. So if you want to tell me that we're going to go to 75, like, sure, I'll buy that for $1. If you want to tell me that we're going to have a flash crash to 65, also, sure, I'll buy that for $1. That would just be like a spring, in my opinion. But I think that we have a lot of the same. So this is a fractal from basically in 2024 into the April crash. We had a lot of the same sort of behavior. In fact, this was actually more violent because of obviously the 1010 crash and the the Binance basically scamming everyone. That was not on my bingo card. And also, when you look at the volume on the daily chart, this is the highest volume that we had. So November 20th is what I'm calling the is it November 20th or the 21st? The 21st of November was the highest volume day that we've had since the breakout. Since for over 13 months, this is the highest volume day that we had. And a lot of the altcoins were filling out the bottom there. So basically, this to me was the selling climax. And are we going to just round out? Was this so violent that we kind of V bottom out of here? To me, that's possible. It's very, very possible and likely that, in March or something like that, we would get a secondary test, something like so, before going out of here. But either way, I think that we're well deeper into this. And I agree with you that it's not going to be what people think. And I think that one of two things is true. Either this is going to be, or both of them, this is going to be the shortest bear market in history, or the altcoins the entire time have been in a bear market.
Yeah.
And, very simply, like how it goes every time. This is a drastic oversimplification, but just for purposes, gold to Russell to crypto, right? My brain just, yeah. Just gold to Russell to crypto, right? So August of 2020, gold tops out. And then the thing that happens is we can just kind of show this real quick here. August of 2020, if I were to show gold on top, and then we show the Russell in the middle. Let's put this on. And then we'll do the total 3 is fine. Bitcoin was kind of moving more along the lines with the Russell. Like the Bitcoin was breaking out, going into price discovery the same time that the Russell was. Altcoins were not at all. So this is super macro. And I'm going to get out of the business of trying to predict time because clearly I'm not good at predicting time. Obviously, I didn't have Binance scamming everyone on my bingo card or any of that stuff. But I think that the structure and the setup is still there. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at let's put this on the daily 2020 into 2021, how that behaved, and what I think is going to happen from a structural standpoint. So on the top is gold. In the middle is the Russell 2000, which not only is the one of the biggest factors to me, it is the factor. So the first thing that happens was gold tops in August of 2020, and you can see the Russell is near. If we line this up kind of perfectly here, best we can, you can see. If I show that, I have it indicated on all of them, right? So the gold top is right here. I have it indicated for all of them. We'll make it the same. There we go. Gold tops, August of 20. Gold top is right here. And then you can see the total 3 bear market lows, absolutely dead. Absolutely what happened, the dev rugged, all that. And then, from there, you don't see like this pin blow off top. You just see more of distribution happening out of gold. But after the top is in for gold, that's pretty much it. It just chops sideways for the rest of the run. But that is the number one factor that we need is gold to top. From the gold top, what you start to see is the Russell starts to wake up. And then you can see right here is the all-time high. And I have it circled on the very bottom. You can see I have the same date circled here on November of 20. That was the all-time high for the Russell. Again, what you see is the altcoins are absolutely dead. They are completely dead. Now, from the all-time high to the buying climax is what I would call. Let's get rid of gold here so we can see this better. Because the only thing that is important for gold is that it's topped. Let's put the total 3 on top now, just because I already have the Russell. I need to do that flipped. Of course I do. All right, that's fine. This one, iShares, and then we'll put this as the total 3 on bottom. So now, here's the top, all-time high right here, and then altcoins. We have it circled. Here's the all-time high, and then here is the buying climax of the Russell. Now, what you can see is there was a rally out of the altcoins, and Bitcoin rallied much harder during this time, but it wasn't anything significant. In fact, we didn't even make a new all-time high. But it was from the distribution. If you scroll together, let me zoom in on this so you can see the distribution of the Russell. Not only was that important, that was the literal entire run. Now, why am I saying all this? Because I've made the argument structurally, this is the same. C19 is the exact same as the tariff. In fact, I have a fractal that I pulled from over here, and we have it lined up right here, and we have been trading candle for candle. Last week I talked about, okay, this is the moment we're going to find out, are we still following this or not? If we're still following this, we would expect this week around the 7th, a pivot, and we would expect by about the 15th that we're going to see an all-time high out of the Russell. I literally tweeted that, and I quoted it yesterday. I can pull it up, but literally that is what I tweeted yesterday. And what we can see is the Russell is officially at an all-time high today. Now, if this is true, I think that this is going to be the breakout of price discovery at this point. And I think everyone is going to be caught flat-footed, just like we were, myself included, in 2025. Everyone's going to be caught flat-footed. I think 2026, everyone also is going to be caught flat-footed. And I think Alex is going to be right all along, where he said 2025 isn't going to be awesome. 2026, I'm going to be a mega bull. This was Alex's original thesis, in my opinion. But this is a big deal. The Russell is at an all-time high right now. No one is talking about it. No one gives a crap. And when you see the volume here, this is real. Like when you have a move with no volume, it's not really a real move. But when there's smoke, there's fire. And when you have real volume, that's a real move. So when we look at Bitcoin, like I think we are almost identically mimicking, and I don't know what the time is going to look like or any of that, but the structure of everything that we were talking about is still there. It's just been delayed, in my opinion. Obviously, the 1010 like really wiped things out in a way of like, 3 to 6 months, in my opinion. But everyone's expecting this violent bear market, but the market has a way of balancing itself, and it's literally just balance and finding imbalances. When you have a big parabolic rise, that's an imbalance or a mark up. And when you have a big violent bear market, that's an imbalance in the market. I don't think that there's a crazy imbalance because we didn't have a crazy. What I'm saying is, in order to have a crazy crashing structure that's violent, you must first have a crazy parabolic violent structure to the upside. And we have not had that. And silver has been stealing the lunch money. I've sold 70% of my silver because we talked about, I sold 40% of my gold. We talked a lot about that of like, hey, this is the buying climax. I even said we will probably get an upthrust and maybe even a UTAD. This is like, I drew this when we were still doing our live streams. If you remember, right? I drew these little squigglies. It's like almost planned out almost perfectly. But to me, this is the UT. We have a major bearish divergence for gold here. And this is more classical distribution where you can see the buying climax was red hot. And now we go slightly higher on the UT here, but it's way less hot. And then this is almost like for silver, it's almost been an alt season because literally it's almost been like a pure alt season. Damn it. When you look at gold versus silver, the buying climax of gold was over here and we were at $4,400. That's where I sold 40% of my gold. I've just sold 70% of my gold at $78. And when
Your
we
silver.
I sold 70% of my silver because this is straight vertical. This is not sustainable. This is red hot, red hot, red hot, red hot. And then when we look at it, this is the buying climax over here. Look at silver. This is like the alt season when Bitcoin makes that one less high. It's the same thing. And then lastly, I'll say when we look at Bitcoin, the similarities to me from that markdown in January of 2024, or excuse me, not January 2024, November of 2024 into April are uncanny. Like when you look at the 5-hour chart. So first of all, just look at the pure number of days from the selling climax to the spring or to the breakout to the point of pivot was 53 days. Okay, well, let's see where we're at right now. From the selling climax to where we are right now is 49 days, I believe. Let me zoom in here. Make sure. Yes. So 49 days is where we're at right now. Also, when we look at it, like once we lost the 200 on the 5-hour chart, this was a major level of resistance. And you can see all the way down. We were just rejection, all the way down. You have one big push up to the 200 and a massive rejection. Okay, let's see. You lose the 200, and this time we even more violently lost it, which makes me be inclined to believe that it's closer to being done than not because of how violent it was. Rejection, all the way down. Big push up to the 200 and a rejection from there. Once you break above it, you then break above the 200 and back test it as support. And then you can see you start to cross to the upside. So the 20 crosses the 200, then the 50 crosses the 200, and then you start to get here, start to coil up, and that's the last one before you have a change. And we have not had this posture since back in September. And then when we look at it, breakout of the 200, the first time we broke it above it since September, back test of it right now. You can see we're chopping on top of it, and we've had the 20 cross, the 50 cross, and the 100 is right there. So to me, like, this is the most bullish posture for Bitcoin. Not quite yet there yet, but very, very soon we're going to be there. And we haven't been in any sort of bullish posture. This would be 5 of 6 is what I would call it. If there's possible crosses, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you count 1 crossing red crossing yellow, 2 red crossing light blue, 3 red crossing dark blue, and then the same thing 4. That's how I sort of measure how bullish or bearish you are. So right now we're technically 5 of 6 bullish posture for Bitcoin on the 5-hour chart, which is a much bigger deal than just being like that on the 5-minute or the 1-minute or whatever. The 5-hour to me is a big, big, big timeline. So I think it's certainly possible in March that we get some sort of spring and fill this out to 75. I have a head shaving bet. I know I had to shave my hair because I was wrong. Shaved my beard in December because I said we wouldn't go below 95, but I have one because everyone's saying that we're going to 50K. We're not going to 50K. I'll shave my head bald if we go to 50K. It's not happening in my opinion. So the structure to me is almost identical right here, where you have your distribution, your markdown, accumulation, same thing, distribution, markdown, and then this is the start of accumulation. I don't know how deep we are into this accumulation, but I think that we're deeper than what people think, and I think that silver has topped relatively. I think that gold has topped relatively, and I think that the Russell is literally breaking out into price discovery right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think 2026 is going to be a good year. I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. And then the last thing I'll say, like, we'll just do Link, but Link is going to represent most altcoins because I think you would agree almost every damn altcoin has the exact same chart.
I was looking on my live stream yesterday. People were asking me about different cryptos. It was the same thing for almost every altcoin.
Right. Did I do this with Link or did I do it with ADA? I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't
I did
matter.
it with Avalanche.
Yeah. Right. All right. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to copy this fractal. I'm not even going to tell you what this is. You know what it is, but for the audience, we're going to play a game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Oh, I did do it already. Okay, cool. Here it is. Here's the fractal. Tell me this is not the same chart. Listen, I'm getting out of the business of time. I don't know when it could happen. It could happen next week, next month, next year, next decade. I don't know. Same thing for silver. When we were talking about silver at $20, $30, I said my target was $78. Alex is my witness. Alex is finally in the green on silver. I'm pumped for you. $78 was my target for silver. There's a chance we go to 107 this year. That would be the 2618 Fibonacci retracement, but I think eventually what's going to happen is silver is going to go back to 50, maybe even 40. I'm going to aggressively reaccumulate my silver once we get there, because I think in 2028, 2029, we're going to go to $200+. But listen, this is the same setup here. It's literally like candle for candle, parabolic rise, distribution, markdown, accumulation. You have your selling climax here, your sign of strength, chopping sideways. Now with crypto, it's more volatile, it's more violent. So the chop right here, you can see, was more steady. This is obviously silver. And this was more, violent, but basically this is the same exact structure. This is literally the same structure, and this is our glorious markup, which is what everyone wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be next week, next month. I'm not telling you to mortgage your house. I'm not telling you to max out your credit cards. I don't know when it's going to happen, but the Russell is breaking out. Bitcoin is showing signs of, forming a bottom here. And I just, this is the big thing too. Fear and greed, right? You can be in fear for a long time. That's fine. You can keep going down. We went to 10, which was the lowest that we were since Luna. And then also 64 consecutive days. This was under 30. That's never happened. Oh, I'm showing the wrong thing. 64 consecutive days. This was under 30. And we just broke it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We were in the 40s for like 2 days. But if I look on this, so we got to 44, 42, and then we're right back to 30. A little bit of a crash, and we're right back to 30. But 64 consecutive days, the longest in Bitcoin's history, being at fear, and then we bottomed at 10, which is basically the exact same as where Luna was. Also, one more thing too, why I'll say the evidence of like I think I'll say a couple more things, and then we'll start looking at the chat. But RSI, this is big on the daily.
You need to
November
switch.
RSI on November. This is big. This is another reason why I think that this is the selling climax. This was all the way down at 14. Okay, that was the lowest we were since the August crash, since 9/11. Really, that's what that was. 2023, and then Luna collapse.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And then there's volume that came in there. There was the record number of ETF volume and just overall straight up volume that came in right here. To me, that's why it's like this. There's real smoke to this being something. Now, I'm not saying we're going to V bottom out of here, all-time high in February. I'm not saying any of that. But to me, we're closer to being done than we're not. And then the last thing I'll say with the Russell, I disagreed with the blockchain backer, who I have a lot of respect for in 2025, and I was wrong. Now, I feel more comfortable disagreeing here than I did in 2025, and his thoughts are on the Russell, and I have it here. When we look on like the weekly, if you pull a Fibonacci from 2007 to 2008, we are at the 4236 extension for the Russell.
I have some thoughts on that I'll get into in a second.
Now, he said, again, I have, for as far as TA, there's not another person, there's like a list of 3 people maybe that I have high regard to as far as what I respect of their opinion. The blockchain backer would be up there. Now, I will say, that being said, he said the exact same thing about the Dow Jones.
All right, that's what I was going to say. He said the same thing about the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, and they both blasted through their 4236.
As you can see, it did top there temporarily in 2021, chopped, and then boom, blasted. Like you said, he blasted right through it. And we're already at the micro 2618 for the Dow Jones. And in my opinion, like the one major thing that this does not factor in when you just look at Fibonacci's is like the dollar was not the dollar from 2007. It's literally not. It's literally not. Now, if you measure this in gold or silver, and like we're at a 1618, 2618 Fibonacci extension, like okay, like I'll buy that for $1. But I think that this is going to break into price discovery, and every time that this is broken to price discovery, that has shown like literally, like you can see this fractal is like insane. How candle for candle we're following this from the C19 crash. This is the April crash. It's just like every high, every low, every higher high, every higher low. And we just made a new high when we were projected to make a new high. Like I made the tweet about this like a week or so ago. I can even find it here real quick. But that is where I feel very comfortable disagreeing. Because it does not factor in that the dollar is not the dollar. Okay, so here is the tweet I made on January 3rd. I said, the Russell has been following this candle for candle since 2021, breakout from C19 crash. If in mid-January it puts in a new all-time high, that will be confirmed after price discovery. And obviously the price was 248 at the time, and we were still working on this sort of back test here. And now we're like right here, basically. But when I made this tweet, we were here because I had already noticed that it was doing this thing. So this to me has been the biggest factor. Like all the same macro factors are still at play that have been at play this entire time. It's just there was things that delayed the cycle, like Binance, the biggest scam exchange in the world. scamming everyone basically, and like, oh, whoopsies, the tariffs, whoopsies, I'm a Sagittarius. We, like all that stuff is like just not like, I have no respect for Binance, because literally they're just out here scamming people. Anyways,
So really, there's only one difference between you and me, but the disagreement, it's like what you believe is something I'm very open to, and I think what I believe is something you're very open to. I believe there's going to be a spring. That's it.
I'm open to a spring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I even have it here as like, it was my base case for a long time. That's crazy. It's like people are like, oh, we're in different camps. It's like, it sounds like we're pretty damn close actually. I've had this for a while, and I think if we're going to get it, it's probably going to be like in March or something like that. I'm open to a spring. Like that's more, it's 50-50 basically, like according to Wyckoff. But, I think either we're going to get it or we don't. But I think that it's not going to be nearly as bad as people think. Like maybe 75K.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I sold most of my bags on October 17th, 11 days after at least Bitcoin peaked. And I shared it on my YouTube channel just a few days ago. I think it was my Monday video, that I'm like trickling back in right now, even though I think there's going to be a spring, because I could be wrong, and forgive me, maybe I'm being too greedy here. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I'm waiting for that spring, and then it's all in basically. I'm not waiting for Bitcoin to go to $50,000 or $40,000. Maybe you're going to say you're shaving your head. I'll grow out an afro if Bitcoin goes to $50,000. Don't write that down. So we're like, what?
It says retail's always wrong. Ski.
Oh, don't pay attention to him. That's foregone. He's the most emotional person on my live streams ever, and I make fun of him all the time. So
yeah. It's what have you done for me lately? You get everything right and you
Yeah.
get one thing wrong, and then you're just, well, retail thinks that we're going to 50K. So that's what retail thinks for sure.
Yeah.
Retail thinks it's going to be October, which is funny because my audience was saying that you were saying October, and
I was absolutely not saying October.
I feel adamant that it's not going to be till October.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, here's another thing that I'll point out. Like, I've done the math on the effect of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. I made a video in 2022 or 2023 estimating how much Bitcoin would have been higher at that point if the spot ETFs existed. And it was almost double the price, a little bit under double the price of what it was. Bitcoin was $30,000 at the time. So 2023. And so I'm convinced that if the spot Bitcoin ETFs never launched, that Bitcoin, it would have maybe barely gone beyond its all-time high in 2025, and we'd be able to look at 2026 with a much better perspective, which is like, all right, you know what, 2025 was just a slow year. 2026 is when the stars are much more aligning. So
yeah, that was your opinion all along. Like you, from the start, from the whole time I've talked to you, you said your oversimplification of your stance is like 2025 is not going to be what you think, but I'm going to be a mega bull in 2026. So
all right. I mean, I did evolve because like people have called me out because now I'm saying 2027. I think 2026 is the ramp up. In 2027, what?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more similar to 2023.
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember the end of 2023? That was a really exciting time.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it's the pivot. Silver and gold have not topped. Sorry to disagree. Hey, you can disagree. That's fine. But I would just, I would like to, let's go to gold real quick, and then we'll look at silver. And like, I don't know, when was the last time you saw silver up 150%?
2011, because I bought that. That was my baptism.
Right. So, let's go to gold on the monthly chart. And look at the RSI here. 96.63. This is the highest it has been since 1979. In fact, we are slightly higher than 1979. So if this is not a top, like, I just don't know what a top looks like then. Or maybe you can elaborate on what a top looks like, but this is the hottest that gold has been um, since 1979. Silver, same thing, the hottest it's been since 1979. It's up 150% this year, and that's just not normal. This is hotter than it was in 1979, actually. No, that's a lie. But the highest it's been since 1979. And we have bearish divergences on the daily for both of them. Both are continuing to rise as the RSI goes lower. And then gold is more textbook distribution right now, where silver is almost like the altcoins of precious metals. So it's going to be more violent one way or the other. But yeah, sure. Can it go to 4,700? Can it go to 107? Sure. But relatively, when we look back 7 years from now, we're going to say, yep, that was the moment when that was it, when people were lined up outside the stores. By the way, go to sell your silver right now. Go to a shop and tell me, are you going to get, what is it right now? $79.93. Are you going to get $79? No, you're not. Why are you not? Because they're not buying it, because everyone's trying to sell it. You're going to get about $75 if you're lucky.
Interesting. So I made a video on silver earlier this week, and lesson learned. I'll never make a video about anything other than crypto, because like barely anyone watched it, and it's all good. But here's what's going to happen. Like this is going to happen. Is all right. The 200-week moving average historically has been a huge marker for silver. If you were to look it up, silver is there's going to be a combination of silver going down to that level and the 200-week moving average rising. And right now, the 200 weeks at $29. So we have a long time. What's most likely to happen, in my opinion, with silver is it's going to it'll peak and then drop and then chop for 2 or 3 years,
right?
Until that 200-week average rises to that point.
That's when you want to be buying it, by the way.
Yeah,
chopping for 2 or 3 years.
That's my game plan. That's what I laid out in that video.
Yeah,
is silver and silver miners, gold and silver miners. There's an alt season coming for that. Right. Anyway.
I've sold 70% of my silver full knowing it could go to 107, but sure. I feel my average price is $20. I am chilling. Like, I am very good. And I think, listen, that's a lesson to be learned. Like, if you're in crypto, I think you should have precious metals in your portfolio, because like on years like 2025, when it doesn't do what you think it's going to do, they very much trade inversely to one another. So while I was down and some cryptos down, even though my average is like 20,000 for Bitcoin the last cycle, and XRP is 30 cents, I'm down. But anyways, when they don't do what you expect, my entire portfolio was propped up by precious metals. So was 2025 what I wanted it to be? No, it wasn't. But am I like on tilt because of it? No, I'm not. Someone asked me, be honest, did you stop buying V, or are you still buying at this price? Like VeChain, I love VeChain.
Yeah.
This is just this is a classic thing to do. It's like you have a big liquidation, 10-10, and you roll down to fill it out, and you found it as support. I think that this is really good. On the 5-hour chart, it's same thing. Like you're about to flip bullish here. This is, I think if VeChain is good at, what do we get to here? If VeChain's good at 8 cents, it's good at, it's even better at a penny.
Yeah, so that's one of the handful that I've started DCAing, and it's got no inflation, and right. It's below its 2022 and 2023 bear market bottom. Like, I have no problem buying VeChain right now.
Right. Yeah, I think, I've been buying VeChain. I've been buying HBAR. I don't think ADA is terrible here. I'm not buying XRP because I feel fine about my bag about XRP. If we get below $1 or near $1, then I'll buy some XRP. But I'm fine on XRP. What else? What's the value list of what I'm buying, Dano? Dano has it. He's my financial advisor.
I mean, yeah, I'm sticking with. I made a list of cryptos that I have on my radar. The category one is cryptos that people actually use. It's just like, what a revelation. Buy stuff that people use. And then two is like, I made a list of like really deep value cryptos that just, even if I don't like it, if it gets to these levels, I'm very interested.
Right.
And then category three is ISOs, because people, I'm skeptical of blockchain technology more so than I think most people in crypto, but like people still believe in ISOs. And then category four is meme coins that I think would pull a Floki and not a Shiba Inu, if you know what I mean.
Bitcoin, Sol, VeChain, Zolnik, Link, HBAR, Dent, Flux.
There you go.
There you go. That's what Dano says. Dano's my financial advisor.
All right.
He says Dynex is flying. I haven't looked at Dynex in a while.
Yeah, I bought some. You influenced me on that. I bought some a long time ago. I'm sure I'm still down on it, but I mean,
it's actually held up.
33%.
It's actually held up pretty good compared to the rest of the market, actually, because it's been in it hasn't even taken out the May lows.
Yeah, so that's I'm liking this chart here, so maybe I'm actually up on it. It's just
Probably
like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't, that sounded a little like backhanded. I didn't mean anything by that. I'm assuming that any crypto that I'm still holding, I'm just of the assumption that I'm down on it, but I might not actually be down on Dynex.
I don't think so. It'd be hard to be down on it unless you bought over here. Yeah, no, this is looking good, really good for sure. And we're above the 200. Let's see if we can close above the 200. It's still in bearish posture, but I mean, this could flip pretty quickly. Solana, I like Solana as like, I don't think it's going to do crazy ROI numbers, but again, people use it.
People use it. That's my thing now. I'm going to admit something. I did not make a good call a couple weeks ago. It was like in the middle of my, I'm not paying attention to charts. I'm paying attention to some business stuff season. And I saw it lose a key level dollar wise. I know it didn't lose it on market cap. And so, I mean, I think Solana is going to go a fair amount lower still, but I mean, if it ends up holding this level, then so be it. 126 is the level.
By the way, like, one thing that we didn't talk about was with Ethereum and Solana is how much stronger Ethereum is in correlation to Bitcoin compared to April's lows versus now. So like,
oh yeah,
let's just do it real quick. Like, April low is 74K for Bitcoin. The low so far is 80K. Even if you want to say we're going to get to whatever, like 75K, 70, whatever. Yeah. Potato. But this low to low, like, it's within a couple of percent. And then you look at Ethereum and it's
almost double.
Yeah, it's insane how much stronger Ethereum is. And I think it goes to, the my God, where's my Ethereum? Jesus. Yeah, it's way higher than it was. And when you zoom out and just look at the macro, like, realistically, this is just a accumulation with higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We haven't went into price discovery for Ethereum yet. So I don't know. I'm not calling for it tomorrow, but and me, I'm one of the biggest Ethereum haters known to man, but this is looking strong to me. Solana coins now on Coinbase, including Solnik and Hehe.
What?
Yes, sir. You can just buy Solnik and Hehe on Coinbase now.
Wow. Okay. I'll check that out.
My YouTube is freezy. I restarted my computer, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we're about 10 minutes away from, I need to be done in 10 minutes, so I can't do really anything now. Yeah, I mean, again, if 80K was the bottom, here's where we all, we're, at least Ski and I are in agreement right now. I mean, I think this month's bullish. I think this month's bullish, and then we'll see if we get that spring or not. So
Right. Yeah, I'm open to that's basically my thoughts too. So I think that you and I are kind of lockstep. I'm just more leaning towards we're not going to get it, but I'm open to
yeah,
it. And I think you're more leaning towards we're going to get it, but you're open to not.
I just man, I think the majority of people, maybe I'm wrong. I'd love your read on this. The majority of people are thinking typical bear market, and so I think that's the point where we zig, is after the spring. It's like, all right, everyone. I mean, you could say that was the selling climax, that what you're talking about. But after the spring, that's when, like, all right, now, obviously now, yes, we're gonna go and everything's gonna drop 90% and everything, and nope. But we'll see.
Yeah. I just think people were way too bearish for way too long.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that plays out. But 64 days consecutive being in extreme fear.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time. That's a record. I think that, yeah, my assessment of retail is everyone thinks that October is the bottom. We're just going to go down in a straight line till then and see you at 50K. Some people are calling for 30K, but like the average is 30 to 50K.
I mean, that's Black Swan event or Great Financial Crisis 2.0 or something like that. But like, if the only thing for 2026, the only thing that has me even in my head a little bit bearish on crypto is because that it's the bear market year. That's it. Like,
right.
with the stock market, I'm super bullish. Why? Because we're not locked into, married to this idea that every fourth year has to suck.
Just this every 7th year.
Yeah, I know. 2029 is the big year, not 2026.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the Russell is literally at an all-time high right now as we speak.
yeah.
I think it's I think we're gonna go to price discovery. Like, I don't know. There's no ceiling for the Russell at this point.
Yeah.
And when you look at the history of what's happened when the Russell goes into price discovery, it's not bearish. Like, that literally is risk on assets. So, and then what I think we're seeing too is like people are really scared of tariffs, but like now it's like, oh, it generated a lot of revenue. So
Yeah. Narrowest trade deficit since 2009. But now the Supreme Court might overrule it.
the Russell.
What?
I was reading a comment. Someone said the Russell. Do you mean Bitcoin? No, I mean the Russell. I did not stutter. The Russell. Look at the correlation between any time that the Russell breaks out, and then look at where crypto is. And you will find that not only are they correlated, they are brothers. They are blood twin brothers.
So Supreme Court delays ruling on Trump tariffs. What's the thing now? I don't know. I don't see any. Oh yeah, they don't issue ruling. Okay, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, apparently it was the 160th that got those guys, the Madero guy.
The what?
The 160th and Delta Forces and the Rangers. I was in the 160th when I was in. So those are like my buddies that got those guys. No ruling announced 30 minutes ago. There's a lot of volatility. Does the Venezuela situation have any impact on crypto market? I don't think so. People are like, I think we're at selling exhaustion personally.
Yeah.
Like, and even for a spring too, like, I don't know, like, what is it going to take? I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess Binance could scam people again.
Yeah, I don't know. There's always, it could always be something. Well, I mean, all right, the Venezuelan thing. I mean, listen, I don't. 90% of you know more about what's going on in the world than I do.
I'm seeing lots of military propaganda, though. I'll tell you that
All
much.
right, but like, the dollars and cents. Okay, I don't care about the propaganda. I don't care about where you stand politically. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but like, aren't we taking over their oil or something like that? And it's like worth $18 trillion of oil, and Trump says we're going to sell it.
Yeah,
That
literally.
sounds like that's half of almost half of our national debt. That sounds like the word that I'm hearing when I say all that is liquidity.
Right.
And I mean, like, but I don't know. You guys probably know more than I do.
I know Tether just minted 1 billion tokens.
Okay, it's
and
been a
then
while.
they're 200 billion on the mortgage rates or something like that, where they're going to buy the mortgage bonds.
Tether is?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is a separate thing. Trump like put out that they're going to buy $200 billion worth of to get the interest rates on mortgages down.
Interesting. Wow.
Um,
That's called soft quantitative easing.
right. Have we officially pivoted into quantitative easing?
No.
No.
The ending of quantitative tightening does not mark the beginning of quantitative easing, but I am going to be every 2025 moon boy when we enter quantitative easing. I'm going to be insufferably bullish.
Right. The rumor has it is they're going to hire the Coinbase advisor as the new Fed chair.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 50-50. So we'll see. Venezuela plus Greenland equals deflation. Yeah, I saw a thing where Venezuela has like more strategic oil.
Oh, they have
reserves.
a ton of oil.
Yeah. It's funny too. It's almost like a pivot that's happening. I don't know in your lifetime, but like every president's like, oh yeah, we invaded them because of there's national security threats or terrorist threats or whatever, and then it just so happens that they have a lot of oil too, But like this time, it's like Trump's just like, no, we're taking their oil.
Apparently, again, I know very little. Like, they stole it from American companies that were there. I don't know, man. So
I don't know. Pretty crazy. I know what I'm seeing on my feed is like a crazy amount of military propaganda where they're playing like the Macarena slowed down and like fighter jets just going by and stuff. And it's like, Macarena.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. And then I'm seeing like, who's the guy who's always in the Adam Sandler movies, the bigger guy?
No idea.
Oh, well, anyways, there's like a clip of him at a NASCAR rally, and he's like, I just got 3 things to say.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I don't know his name.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Anyways, it's a crazy world we live in, Alex.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think this is a good stopping point here. Any closing thoughts for the people of the world?
For the people, hey guys, this was initiated by me, the break, because I was working my butt off, working insane hours to focus on business things unrelated to crypto, and we're back every Friday.
We're so back.
We're so back. Just like crypto, we are so back.
We're so back, boys.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, start your engine. Yeah, we'll never message you first. Those are scammers. Right. For the love of God. If a Yaboyskey skis crypto, Alex, World War Bitcoin, any of the following, anyone that looks like our name, image, or likeness says, how's your trading going? Any of those things, morning mate, sup mate,
kindly send me something. Any kindly? No, that's not us.
Yeah, we're not kind. So we're not going to ask you for money. All right. for the love of God, do not get scammed. Do not redeem DCA. Don't capitulate. If your plan was to sell, then sell. If your plan was to DCA, then DCA. My advice is don't make an emotional decision. Stick to your plans.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, but that's going to be it for this time. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God